what does your dream home look like? And I've been asking Edna all this time, team apartment or team standalone? Ebu?
If you're buying a house, now we're talking about people who are buying, check the reputation of your developer. You could use a conveyancing lawyer to check everything, to do your due diligence. Angalia the track record of the developer. How long have they been here? How much money? Angalia their books if they are public, to check everything for you. Ndio ujue when your house is going to be completed, how is the quality of the houses they have delivered, and all of those things. Hi everybody, my name is Edna.
And I'm Mercy.
And this is A Real Conversation,
your trusted guide in everything real estate here in Kenya.
And as usual, before we begin, we'd like to say thank you so much to our sponsors of the day, Centum Real Estate. They are the biggest real estate developer in East and Central Africa, and they believed in this dream. So thank you so much, Centum.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So let's just hit it off. How was your week?
My week was good, actually. I relaxed. Okay, relaxed in a sense of how I feel, not how the activities of the week went. But I think it's because of there is this TikTok I saw. I'm a real TikTok scroller. So there's this TikTok about fasting complaining. So if you're a Christian, you know about the story of the Israelites spending 40 years in the wilderness before they got to the promised land. Sasa, this TikTok was saying it is known that they could have taken 11 days to reach the promised land. But because of their murmuring, actually meandikwa murmuring, not and complaining, they didn't reach the promised land. So the TikTok was about fasting, complaining for 11 days so that your mouth is only filled with gratitude. So
preach, sister. Preach. But I remember Kinisho alafu tukaenda tukawatch how the process actually was, and alianza complain mapema.
And you know, you should, and it's complaining in thought, complaining in actions, like that clicking, that rolling of your eyes. If you have anything to say, speak it to God, and then you should always have a mouth filled with gratitude. And actually Sunday to preach the same thing, but I won't go on and on and on and on and on about it. So if you want to join me in the fast, you could actually.
Join.
Yeah.
I'm really trying.
So far
so good.
How was your week?
My week has been amazing.
Why?
I have a niece, guys. She's so pretty. Ni mrembo. Like, it made life better.
Worth living.
I was getting out of work, like rushing to go home and just carry her, and she's such a calm baby. Unajua wala watoto hawali, like she's so calm, so sweet. She's always cooing,
cooing,
always just smiling. I had a very
you understand parents.
I understand parents, by the way, now, but now Mimi bado, but I understand parents and where they come from, because it was such a beautiful week, and we did the blessing, the baby blessing, and it was so nice, so beautiful. Alafu ndio kaniambia ile story ya fasting, tukaendelea na maisha.
Sasa anyway, we are back. Before we continue and go on and on and on about how our weeks were, last time we spoke about the big debate, where they thank you guys for the feedback, the comments. People actually commented on our TikTok, Instagram. What were team build? By the way, there was a question on TikTok about, because the podcast was about team rent versus team buy. But then we forgot to mention that Team Build have their own episode coming very soon. So, relax, Team Build. We are not just for Team Rent or Team Buy. Team Build, we are coming for you. So, if you have any questions about the process of building your house, you could shoot them in the comments today. Then we'll answer them as the episode comes up. But for today, now, decide if you're Team Rent or Team Buy. So for the people of Team Buy, this episode is for you. Even if you're Team Rent, you could still watch. But now we're going to give you the step-by-step of how you're going to buy
buying
your house.
is a overwhelming. It's like an overwhelming process. And if you do not have the tips and tricks, if you do not have someone, as we always say, guiding you and holding your hand through this journey, and that's why we're here to help you through this journey, it can be very overwhelming for you. And so, as Edna said, this is the episode where we cover that. And the buying process just starts with 3 or 4 main questions.
Four questions.
4 questions. The first one is, why do you want to buy?
So buying, I feel like buying goes 3 ways. So it could be for investment, it could be your retirement home, or it could just be the house you want to live in now. So the first question you ask yourself is the reason why you want to buy that house. Then it leads you to the next question. How are you going to finance that house?
And also, like, going back, looking to the reasons why you want to buy, if your purpose is investment, your buying process is going to be very, very different from someone who's buying for their retirement or also for their home, for the family to live in. So also now when you're going to the question of how you can finance it, do you have the cash? Do you want to go towards debt? Do you want to buy off plan and then now you're paying in installments? There are so many reasons, and so that's what you're going to tackle today.
Another question you need to ask yourself is, what type of a house fits your lifestyle? Because there are people who like apartment lifestyle. There are people who like standalone homes. So it ties back into the first question. Why? Because if it's for investment, I feel like most people don't go for standalone homes. They go for apartments. If it's for your family right now, you would like to go for a standalone home. If you have a big family maybe, or young kids, you're not going to go for a high-rise apartment. And then if now it's for retirement, you might choose a beachfront house.
Ama the lifestyle is, if you're a nomad, unashinda ukizunguka, your work demands that you move places every 2 to 3 years. Your contract lasts 2 to 3 years, maybe in Nairobi, next time uko Mombasa. Like, you'll choose your home based on how your lifestyle is. If you're someone who just sticks in one place for a long time, your reasons will be different. And then now that will be where you want to buy your home.
So
location.
The third question, where do you want to buy your house? Do you want to buy it in a satellite place like outside Nairobi? Do you like the city?
The city people, noise.
The people who like city fever. But when you're hawezi outside the city,
bila sauti ya matatu.
Are you going to buy it there? Are you going to buy it in a gated estate? Are you going to buy in basically very many places to buy your house? So I think we've spoken about the why do I want to buy a house, for what purpose. The other reason is, where do you want to buy a house, what lifestyle fits. And the fourth question is now, what is your budget? Be realistic with yourself. You need to know what you currently have and what you don't have also, so that you can know how to fill that gap.
Anyway, Edna, before we continue, what does your first home, what does your dream home look like? And I've been asking Edna all this time, team apartment or team standalone? Ebu niruke sai niruke.
Me personally, I know your answer. Personally, mimi ni team standalone. Like, dream house, and I'm putting it out there to God, from my mouth to God's ears, a huge chunk of land in Tigoni. As a quiet place
with a pond,
lush green pond with ducks, 2 froggies at night, see that croaking of frogs and crickets, just a quiet place. That is my vibe. As standalone, I think maybe it's because of how I've been brought up. I like the peace. Na wewe,
si unajua, ebu ambie.
She's an apartment girlie, city girl.
Apartment girlie for real.
Why?
I don't know. I just like apartments. Like, there's no specific reason that can back it, but I feel like I just love apartments. There are many people complain by the way about apartments, like sharing a floor with a neighbor. Usiku unasikia neighbor ana gonga.
but
anagonga unadhani ana move furniture but me I don't know, I like it.
Kuna advantages. You see, for someone like you, wewe unaweza omba chumvi, mimi was standalone, before you actually get help ngumu sana. And then even security in apartments, it's easier than doing it for a standalone,
unless it's in a gated
estate. Okay, that now is also something I prefer, actually, being in a gated estate. There are amenities that you would do for yourself, like a swimming pool or a clubhouse. You can get it easily in a gated estate. So minus the big land and everything, it's also something I would really like, to live in a gated estate.
There's something we talked about before we move on how someone can finance their home. Tumeongelelea retirement. And I feel like we have to shed and give a few tips and tricks, because this is a podcast where we give you tips, tricks of how you can go about this thing. So retirement comes in like 2 ways. You can buy your retirement home for where you will go after you're done with working in Nairobi, working in your city, going back home to just rest. Ama you can buy your retirement home as like your retirement, what are they called? Retirement plan.
Yeah.
So you buy, there's a house I know, and tulikuja kujua juzi. There's a house in Two Rivers. It's
Riverbank
called
Apartments.
Riverbank.
Yeah.
And someone bought it at, was it
15M?
15M. And then every month they have a payout of around 150K. At least.
Yeah.
And when they're getting this payout, the developer has managed the property for them. Wamemtafutia tenant. Like they've made the process so seamless for you as an investor. And now wewe unangoja tu pesa cash in
like retirement. Basically, you're at home,
umechill, 150 inagonga account yako
every month.
And that can be a reason as to why people buy, because now you maybe you do not want to go for the retirement benefits companies. You want something that you can see, you can touch, like tangible wealth. So I think we should point it out.
Yeah, that is something, actually, when we said why you want to buy a house for retirement, I think it's important that you highlighted that. Now you've decided why, the big why you want to buy your house and all those other things. How are you going to finance it? Because the biggest thing is cash. Where are you getting your money? Utatoa pesa yako wapi? So I think the first way of financing your house ni cash, like pesa, cash in hand. But when most people talk about it, inakuanga ni kama, I mean, you come with 100% of the money. That's not exactly what I mean. So for
you can though.
You could.
Yeah.
You could. But you could diversify your portfolio, put some money in a money market fund, stocks, bonds, all those things. But in the initial process, you could put in cash for an off-plan property. So for anyone who doesn't know, off-plan is purchasing a property before construction is completed. Yeah. So for people who buy off-plan properties, the main advantage inakuanga, it's usually more affordable. The price is cheaper than the market price. And then inakupea a huge amount of time to pay for your house. Ni kama unalipia nyumba yako ijengwe without dealing with the contractors, without dealing with the handyman, without dealing with the hiccups here and there. You're just paying and you let someone else do all the work for you. Yeah.
So now the cash option, which we can also give a tip, because this podcast is for tips. Go tell your friends and your families who want to invest in real estate. Wakuje hapa wasikie. So for off-plan properties, when someone pays the 10% deposit, there's something Edna and I were thinking, and maybe you have the cash 100%. We're thinking you can pay your 10% deposit. The remainder, you can put it in a MMF, in stocks, in places where it can earn you interest as you wait, as your property is being constructed. And then ikiisha, your money has already worked for you. But no, most developers, when it's off plan, sometimes they want payment installments, either monthly or quarterly, so you can work a way around it. The money that, if you had the money 100%, the money is working for you somewhere. The interest that it's earning there, inakuja inalipa your installments in this building. And then now there's cash financing, and then we can go to debt financing. And in debt, there are so many So many options. Mortgage,
SACCOs.
Rent to own is actually
a debt financing method.
So to say mortgage is when you're taking a financier pays the developer your money in full, and then you're left paying off the financier, now a bank or a SACCO. So there's a mortgage given by banks or SACCOs or microfinance institutions. There's a SACCO loan or a microfinance loan. And then now there's the rent to own. Mortgage, we'll talk about it in detail because this one needs an expert. We will bring an expert hopefully in the next episode who will give us the nitty-gritties, what you need to qualify,
how much people even finance, what do you need before you do you need savings,
and then how they help their customers who they financed throughout the process. So we'll bring someone who can talk about it. But now let's go to SACCO loans. When you're taking a SACCO loan, it's normally SACCOs finance you 7 to 10 times.
Some do 4 times.
4 times.
As low as 4 times. And others do up to 10% of your savings. So sometimes for SACCOs, you take a loan against your savings.
So let's say if a house is 3M
and you have 300K and your SACCO gives 10 times, you have everything you need honestly.
On a SACCO.
SACCOs are actually, most people like them because of the low interest rates. But that's where now KMRC has come in to back the banks to give low interest rates. These things zinahitaji kuongelelewa kwa that mortgage episode. We can't just bite around them.
And I think if you're new here, we've spoken about KMRC before, and you're going to be hearing about KMRC a lot because
in this podcast,
I think it's manna from heaven.
It's the best thing to happen to Kenya. People after sliced bread.
I know. So you're going to hear a lot about KMRC, and if you haven't, check out our previous episodes. We've talked about
a lot, and
tuambie ama wataenda waangalie. Wacha
waende waangalie. Alafu I think for the sake of people who are already here for the episode, for most loans you will need this debt financing. You will need to have good credit. So if you're in the CRB, ngangana ujitoe. I know it happens to many people. It has happened to the best of people who did not expect to be there, but find a way to have good credit. Most people actually require you to have 10 to 30% of the amount of the house. The 100% amount of the house, you need to have at least 10 to 30 ndio waweze kukupea mortgage.
And also when you're taking up the mortgage, I think it's law that you're not supposed to, the mortgage should not take 2/3 of your income, so that at least you can survive. Imagine they cannot take everything, honestly.
They can't, and that's a good thing about banks. Banks are not just institutions, they have people inside
running
them. People who care about how you live your life, the quality of your life also. Alafu, even with that, honestly, I feel like people are afraid of debt.
But the next episode, be sure to join, because there's a lot of fear, and I understand, honestly.
I have someone who has done mortgage and anaishi vizuri. So what happened is she took a mortgage on her own, and then now it's a 2-income household. So the husband does everything else, and then she's the one who repays the mortgage, and it works for them.
I had a problem with that, but that's for another day. Yoni.
She thinks the mortgage should be paid
by the man, but sticky cool. But tell us, by the way, have you had mortgage stories?
Because kuna horror stories, and there are good stories out there. We want to hear the good and the bad. Yes, alafu sasa, you know how you're going to finance your house. Kama wewe ni mtu wa cash, you already know cash. You already know why you're even buying the house.
Property.
The third, and I think the most important thing after financing, is choosing the right location and the right house. So what are the things you need to be checking for when you're choosing a property? You need to check for location, location.
Even now we will emphasize.
If you watch Big Bang Theory, like
or Modern Family,
like me, there's this guy called Sheldon Cooper. It's a sitcom. I hope all of you have watched it. If you have not, kindly do. Sheldon is one of the smartest people in the show. At the end, he is the smartest person on the show. At the end, he wins a Nobel Peace Prize. So if you're not going to, is it peace or is it science? I don't know. But if you're going to not listen to me, listen to Sheldon. He says in season 2, episode 10, I think. I watched it like 10 times. I watched kama 10 times.
Flex hapa sasa.
It's a thing.
It's a lifestyle, Brian.
He says, just like in real estate, location. So if you're not going to listen to me,
listen to the smartest guy on the planet, guys. Listen to the smartest. But now, I think we should defend why location. And there's a theory I had I think a few days ago. It was given by Kenneth Mbai, and he was saying Sahi, the building cost is the same. Whatever you build, let's say you're building same design in, let's say, Runda. Same design in Runda, same design in Kajiado. And then now the property you've built in Kajiado, icona gold-plated
chairs,
fixtures,
everything.
I know everything is gold, but then now the one in Runda is standard. It's like Nini. And then these two people, they want to go ahead and sell it to the market. Who will fetch
more income? It's the one in Runda, because you really cannot compare.
You cannot compare with the location,
and
honestly.
Even location, it's the same thing with appreciation of value. Higher. Both of us have built a house today. We are done building our house on the same day. We put it in the market at the same time. You have built in Runda. I have built in, let's say, Kawangware. After 5 years, let's come and look at the value of both houses. We built using the same materials, same everything. Difference too, ni location. The value that she gets and the value that I get
are totally
very different.
But also it begs the question, and we say this in the beginning, why are you buying a home? If it's for investment, for sure location should be your first thing to look at, honestly. But now for people who are looking at their homes for where you want your family to live, maybe you want bigger spaces, I don't know.
Maybe they won't check for appreciation
of value. They might, but some too haita bother about appreciation and stuff like that.
Alafu pia on location, let's not forget proximity to amenities. Where do you go to? Where does your child go to school?
The infrastructure also.
The roads.
How do they look like? Siku za mvua, and tunaingia mvua season. Very, very soon.
How does it look like? When it's
drainage, sewage? But hizo ndo tunaweza sema kuhusu location.
Alafu also, now another thing you need to check about choosing where your house will be and all that is the developer.
Yes.
If you're buying a house, now we're talking about people who are buying, check the reputation of your developer. You could use a conveyancing lawyer to check everything, to do your due diligence. Angalia the track record of the developer. How long have they been here? How much money? Angalia their books if they are public, to check everything for you. Ndio ujue when your house is going to be completed, how is the quality of the houses they have delivered, and all of those things. Is there anything else people need to know about developers?
I think Nihil. I think you've said a lot of it. Your reputation is enough. But as always, engagement question. Where will you buy your first home?
First home for me to live in, or
for
to invest in?
Tuseme live in.
Buying. I haven't thought about it.
Same.
But I'm sure for me it would be somewhere with venye tu nilisema at the beginning, gated estate.
But I think unaweza taka Tigoni sana. Anashindanga amelia kuhusu Tigoni, guys. And I can't keep on doing
Even
this.
The producer amesema ni beautiful.
But anyway, whatever we like, mi nakupenda tu bado.
Kila mtu, kuna mtu kama wewe mwenye unapenda the city life, you like a place that's vibrant. Hapo sasa ndio wewe mtu wa Riverbank.
Riverbank apartments.
Yeah, sasa umefanya your due diligence. You know when the house is going to be complete, you know where you're going to buy your house, you know what income is going to bring you. If it's not income, all those other things. Now you close the deal.
Before we go to close, by the way, I feel like I have to say this. If you're buying a home, we was looking low in the morning, and I used to do this when I was doing valuations kitambo. Checking the Ndungu report. And also just kwenda kufanya land search. I think ni 500 bob.
Also, for anyone who doesn't know what the Ndungu report is, what is the Ndungu report?
Ndungu report. So there's a committee that was set up, and the one who was in charge was Ndungu. I can't remember. Ndungu. But now he set up a report where if your LR number, your title deed, if your land is in that report, it's illegally allocated. It's supposed to be public land.
Yeah, and it's updated.
It's updated. It's normally updated. So when you're doing your due diligence, Ebu just check Ndungu report.
Actually, you can on your own. Even.
You can, honestly. You can download the I think 3 or 4 annexes. An annex is just a big book. So there are downloadable copies online. And you just type in the LR number and you see if it's there, because now if it's there, it's going to cause you a lot of problems, because I know there are some transactions you can't do if your land is illegally allocated as public land.
Ndio tunasema check your developer.
Most
of these things are solved by just working with a reputable developer and working with a lawyer. I know it's a bit more pricier, but it saves you so much in the long run. It becomes a mini majoring the minors and minoring the majors. Like, don't look at the cost right now. Look at it in the future. What does it help you with?
But I feel tutaleta pia a lawyer. Someone who knows
about the taxes.
Tutaleta Martin. Martin is our biggest fan. Hi Martin. Tunajua watch. So you'll bring Martin around. Martin is a very good tax and just land law, everything law. He's really good at it, and I think it will be nice to bring him here.
Now sasa tumefika, you have done all that. Ume select that house. You want that house. We're closing the deal. What do I do from there? So I feel like at the tail end, you need to have that 10%. Most people need it.
The minimum.
It's a show of commitment.
Yeah.
You want to buy a house, but you have nothing to show for it. I feel like you should have at least 10 to 30%
of the sale value. That at least, when you have the 10 to 30%, they give you something called a letter of offer. And a letter of offer is just to show Edna Mwendwa
wants to buy unit
number this and this, and then maybe later on when they have committed, they'll commit a bit more, maybe another 10% to give them an agreement on sale, or sale agreement, what they call it. And then now we continue with the process. But now story,
so kuna kasiri kidogo tunataka kuibia. Now for most people, I know kila mtu amelelewa na negotiating. Imagine you could also do that with a house.
Yeah.
So most times developers do have offers, especially off-plan
development.
Off-plan pricing inakuanga on offer. So you ask and advocate for yourself. You could get a discount. It's usually fixed in stone because of a lot of things, but some months utapata kuna offer kama ya Valentine's, Christmas season offer, Easter offer. Ask, maybe they do have an offer.
And then now you can get a slightly lower rate.
Yeah, slightly lower, but it's still money at the end of the day, pocket.
Yeah. And then there's this thing Edna, that people like calling hidden cost.
It's not hidden.
And I do not like people using that term.
Yo tena tunarudi kwa that thing ya developer. If umepewa letter of offer and you think they are hidden costs, then you need to check, because in that letter of offer there are closing costs. They are not hidden costs. And they should be there in your agreement. You need to know about them. Ndio pia wewe uweze kujipanga, because everyone needs to have a look ahead of what is awaiting for them huko mbele. So they are not hidden costs for anyone who's usually afraid of them. They are called closing costs. They need to be there so that you can become a ribbon on your big present, just to tie everything up neatly. You need to have the closing cost.
And closing cost, in case inakupita, closing cost ni stamp duty, valuation charge. Before you get your, now there's something called sectional titles. Let's say if you're buying an apartment, for you to get like ownership of that specific apartment, there's a thing called sectional titles, and we will cover that more in the future. So before you get that, there's some fees you normally pay. You pay valuer's fees, you pay stamp duty,
you pay
lawyer's fees. You might pay your lawyer, you might pay the developer's lawyer, and those closing costs are a lot. And as a plus, we're doing a social media reel just to give you
everything about the closing costs. So follow us on Instagram and on TikTok to get that reel. It's all the details in point form, even if you want
percentage.
to know.
Hadi percentage ukitaka kujua the exact percentage. We will give you all that information, but be sure to catch us on social media.
Yes.
Follow us.
Yes. Alafu sasa, after all of this, if you're not going to get out of here with anything, remember at least the first 4 questions that we said. The first thing you need to do is have a goal. You wouldn't know where to go if you don't know where you're going.
Yeah.
So have a goal, why? Then figure out your financing. Then check your location and do your DD, do your due diligence. And lastly, work with reputable people, a lawyer, a developer, so that you can even feel secure that your money is working for you. Yeah.
And if you need help, by the way, and you feel stuck, please reach out to us.
Questions.
Reach out to us. We are always ready. We are registered agents.
Yes.
I mean, reach out to us. We're going to help you. We're going to guide you. We work with reputable developers like Centum Real Estate.
Yes.
So be sure to catch us every day. Social media banner. Email yetu iko hapo.
Iko everywhere. We have our email there. You can DM at any time. We are always on at any time to help you guys. But I think that has been it for today.
I think we can finish now. What do you think might be your biggest concern when you're starting?
Hey, umenipata off guard.
When you're buying your first home, what do you think can be your biggest concern?
Okay, now that I have
5 years ago.
I think 5 years ago, the horror stories we used to see on TV about developers. That's why I keep insisting. Unapata so many people have
Athi River. Unakumbuka hizo ma story? Alafu
manyumba zimefikishwa hapa, and then someone just dashes out with your money. I think that for me would have been the issue years back. But now that I know the process and how to do it, I feel so confident in knowing that I can buy a house sahi with everything in order.
I think one of my concerns previously was mortgage. Let me tell you. You see the scary stories. Me, I've had those scary stories. I've had people, they have auctioneers come to their doors just because they did not have the full information when they were getting their mortgage. And I feel like the Nini has changed. Like the scene has changed.
The scene has changed. It's more friendlier.
More friendlier now.
It's not a horrific thing that people are afraid of. People can actually afford mortgages. It's most people actually owning their homes like that, because ni watu wangapi unaweza pata wako na 100% of what they
money
need. Yeah.
And I think that was my biggest concern. But as always, tell us your biggest concern, Pia.
In the comments. For the people who have been commenting, we see you, we love you, we appreciate you.
Yeah.
Yes. So any tool that we have given in the podcast, today, as usual, show notes, description box, and our social media platforms will be right here. Please follow us on every social media platform at The Real Conversation KE.
And that has been us. My name is Mercy.
Edna.
And this is The Real Conversation.
See you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.